Welcome, everyone, to another wonderful episode of Top 5 of the Week. This week, I bring you a carefully curated list of 5 global development publications. I hope you find something in it worth your while. Let's get into it. As kids return back to school in some parts of the continent, I would like to highlight this brief by Save the Children about protecting every child's right to an education during the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. With a focus on West and Central Africa, the brief highlights some of the disruptions of the pandemic to an already fragile education system. It also proposes recommendations to reinforce government efforts to reach the most vulnerable, which include promoting inclusive distance learning and preparing for safe return to school. This brief is literally 8 pages, so what's your excuse? Next is a report that analyzes emerging approaches and lessons of how digital technologies are being used to support youth's transition from school to work, especially youth in forcibly displaced and host communities. It draws out future trends that could shape the learning to work ecosystem, such as increased use of data and analytics to provide more personalized support to learners and insights for decision makers. Number 2, greater use of artificial intelligence and machine learning technology. And number 3, the integration of virtual reality into learning and training solutions. It also highlights key emergent lessons and insights related to design, implementation, and scaling of these digital solutions and provides some recommendations on a way forward. My next recommendation is a guide for policymakers to mainstream gender in trade and trade-related policies from policy design to implementation and monitoring. This is absolutely important as create and push for policies to facilitate the AFCFTA on the continent. This step-by-step guide includes a total of 7 tools to support policymakers from mapping and identifying opportunities for women in value chains, to data collection and analysis, engaging stakeholders, prioritizing strategies, and presenting these policy frameworks. Number 4 on my list today is another quick brief that makes a case for inclusive growth during the current pandemic. It places a really positive spin on the opportunities for building stronger communities from the current crisis and highlights 4 growth principles, which include having ambitious goals, creating partnerships for transformation, investing in sustainable growth, and finally, fostering adaptive management. Finally is a report on the implications of the AFCFTA for trade and biodiversity by the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. The report opens with an overview of biotrade in Africa and African trade integration. It continues to identify potential entry points to enable legal and sustainable trade in biodiversity and biotrade to support the AFCFTA through future commitments, including trade in goods and services, investment, intellectual property rights, and competition policy. The report also puts forward some opportunities and challenges, as well as recommendations for biotrade and the trade of biodiversity-based products and services in the context of the AFCFTA agreement. Thanks for watching and listening. Until next week, goodbye.